Entry 15 July 10th XXXX. I have been here for nearly a month. Grand Duchess always goes out to meet her other friends, so I am always left alone. This is a popular retreat location for nobles, which is true, but it needs an amendment. This island is a popular retreat location for older nobles. There are only 2 young female nobles that are close to my age on this island. They usually live in the country or here, so I have never met them before. We became acquaintances on some days such as today. They invite me to their tiny tea gathering. On other days, I stay in my own room and read to my heart's content. Liana, if you wish to send out letters, it's better to do it now, said Beatrice. One of the 2 ladies I met, why I asked, curious. I knew what you didn't know, that Jane exclaimed. It's going to be the monsoon season soon, so there might be a chance we are not able to get in touch with the mainland. That's right. Last year the wind was so strong we lost connection with mainland for 3 weeks. Was it 3 weeks? Yes, around a month, but it's all right. Everything stays the same here. We have enough food stored, the ferrying just stops. How about wind or water controller? Can't wind or water controller help, I asked. You haven't heard of the legend. Legend has it that this is where the mermaids reside. They have this part of the sea charmed, so our powers cannot affect it. And this may also be a reason why the monsoon affects the sea so much. That's quite fascinating, I have never heard of it. Maybe I should buy that Mysteries of Coral Cliff from the bookshop. I should write a letter explaining this to Mother before the monsoon season starts. She might not know about this like me. She will definitely go into hysterics if I lose contact with her. Well, will she? Maybe she simply thinks I'm having a great time with Grand Duchess. Why does it seem possible? Maybe I should also once again remind her not to eat anything with the slightest traces of mushroom. If only I know the reason why they were killed in my previous life. But I did not. No matter how hard I tried to investigate myself in my previous life, I could not find a single lead now. Since I don't know the enemy, I could only try to avoid the inevitable. Sebastian said he would protect them. I should trust him. But it won't hurt to dissuade my mother from eating mushroom. I will simply tell her mushroom isn't the trend now. You will be condemned by the trend leaders if you eat mushroom. Mother might buy that. Or maybe I should persuade my whole family to come and visit me. I was passing by the town square at that time with my maid, of course. This island is small, so walking can get you anywhere you want to go if you have time. That's when someone crashed into me. It's a girl with strawberry blonde hair. She was being chased by a guy. Felicity, are you alright? That guy ran over and took hold of the hand of this Felicity. He anxiously checked her for injuries. I don't like the name Felicity. This girl crashed into a random stranger while apparently playing Come and Catch Me with this lover boy. But she did not apologize. That lover boy was shooting me daggers for what? Passing by the square when you 2 played Come and Catch Me. My feeling towards them turned into annoyance. Lucien, I'm alright, it's not very painful, Lucien. Lucien and Felicity, it can't be, no. That's not possible. Hey, why didn't you apologize? You hurt Felicity, me. Who was running in this crowded square? Was that me? What are you saying? It's that girl who hit into my lady. My maid came to my defense. She walked closer to me. That was when she sprained her ankle. I saw a look of triumph on Felicity. Don't you think I will be afraid of you just because you're some lady? You crashed into me. Apologize, Felicity demanded. My maid looked like she planned to continue to defend me. I stopped her. It's useless. They were really that Lucien and Felicity. That stupid Prince of Ihan who was driven away from his country by Lord Astor. And that girl, his wife. Who is the embodiment of luck. I am sorry. I am sorry for passing by the square at an inappropriate time. I was so sorry for myself. My good mood was ruined because of them, lady. I stopped her with a look. It's really best not to leave an impression. Whatever Felicity wishes, the world gives it to her. That's her power. We will let you go this time. Next time you will receive punishment, Lucien said. I gave them a nod and walked away. Who do they think they are? Punishment? You are not the Prince of Ararin. You are not even a prince anymore. When I was far away from them, hiding behind a store, I touched my pendant and used my power, soaked them. Water put them out like the fire I hated so much. Hearing their screams of surprise, I smiled satisfactory and walked away, trying to push down the desire to cough. Sebastian must have disapproved if he was here. It is stupid if you take revenge by hurting yourself. Really petty revenge too, but I don't care. I would not be able to forgive myself if I didn't at least do something when I meet the two people who are responsible for our kingdom turning into ashes. The two people who trapped Sebastian in the castle and burned him alive. Entry 16, July 15th, XXXX. I have not seen Felicity and Lucien from that day on. I stayed in bed for a few days to recover from the repercussion. So I hope they were just here for sightseeing. Prince Lucien of Idhan was driven out of the country by Lord Astor last year. After that he came to Erin and asked King Louis for help. Prince Lucien claimed that he was related to the royal family of Erin and they should help him reclaim his country. King Louis refused, of course related. All royal families are related in some way or the other. Help that means going to war. Why should my country go to war to help you reclaim your country? King Louis politely suggested former Prince Lucien to go traveling. Go and look at different parts of the world. And more importantly, do not stay in our capital. Who knows what others will think. Prince Lucien was very unhappy and angry. And very luckily, no matter how much I do not like the word luck, it is the most suitable word to be used here. Felicity was not by Lucien's side when he came to ask King Louis for help. Otherwise, King Louis may be forced to help because of her luck. Sebastian believed at that time Felicity did not want to be queen yet. She just wanted to be with Lucien. But then everything changed when that traitor approached Lucien. Lord Bentley is a very ambitious lord. To put it simply, he wants to be Lord Astor. His dream is to control the king and maybe later become king himself. His dream would have stayed as dream if Lucien had not appeared. Both King Louis and Prince Sebastian are not fools. Lucien, a stupid and easy to manipulate former prince, was perfect for him. Lucien would be a perfect puppet king. In my previous life, he approached Lucien and laid out a plan. He made use of Felicity's power. He asked Felicity to wish for famine and drought in Erin, so that our subjects were dissatisfied. Then he spread rumors saying that the new queen brought misfortune. The famine and the drought were proof. People were dissatisfied and angry with me, the newly crowned queen, and then even the king for marrying me. No matter what, I am thankful that Sebastian did not disown me. He was responsible like this. Even to a queen he had no feelings for. A queen who caused his subjects to revolt. As long as I was his queen, he protected me. But he also betrayed me. That was when Lord Bentley asked Lucien to pretend to be a knight in shining armor. He had food because they bought that before the famine. He had a wife who was the embodiment of fortune. If you have to choose, which side will you choose? Food or famine? People started revolting. Now that I think of it, the revolt started here around Coral Cliff. From this corner of the country, Lord Bentley controlled everything behind the scene. When Sebastian found out the traitor and everything he had done, it was too late. Maybe Felicity helped in concealing Bentley too. The plan was already in motion. Felicity was there. No one can fight against luck. I should have killed them when I met them that day. Shouldn't I? Why didn't I grasp such an opportunity? Lucien controlled fire and wind. The fire that fateful day was started by him. The fire that killed Sebastian and I, but I can't. No matter how much I hate them. The idea didn't even cross my mind. What a failure. A failure queen. Now I can't even sacrifice myself for the greater good. Lord Bentley should have approached them already. The famine started a few months after Sebastian ascended the throne. Sebastian said he found out the traitor way too late because Lord Bentley was clean. He was the loyalist noble before everything. So I guess Sebastian could not catch Bentley immediately after he was reborn as he didn't have proof. I hope he has proof now. I will have to destroy this page. Too many secrets. Too many names. I hope when the monsoon season is over, I can receive some good news. Entry 17, August 23rd. XXXX. How many times do you have to betray me? Sebastian, I trusted you. I trusted you. It's all my fault. I should have stayed in the capital. I should have stayed by my family's side. Then, even if I could not delay the inevitable, I could at least die with them, you traitor. You promised me, Sebastian. The extra long monsoon season ended with letters and news. King Louis was killed in a carriage accident. The Canes, except their youngest daughter, all died in an accident. I should not have trusted you. It's all my fault. Why am I so stupid? It's all my fault. Entry 18. September 1st XXXX, I shouldn't have trusted him. Now I can't even get out of my room. What do you want from me? When I returned to the capital, the first thing I did was to find him. He received me when I shouted at him hysterically. He just smiled at me with his predator-like smile. It overlapped with my previous life. He won't help me, all of it are lies. What do you want from me? I already suggested breaking off our engagement. Why do you still drag my whole family, and why? I trusted you. I passed out after my hysterical fit. When I woke up, I was in my room. My room when I was queen. It's been 3 days. I am treated like the most honored guest. Like a queen, even there are novels food I like. But I am not allowed to leave my room. He has not come to see me ever since. Are you guilty? Hope guilt eats you alive. No, that won't happen. He has no heart, no emotion. He is a monster. I shouldn't have trusted him. Guilt has already eaten me up alive in trusting him. I became a heartless monster just like him. I am guilty. It's all my fault. Because of my unconditional trust, all my fault. Because of my stupidity, my fault. Because of my pathetic love, fault. I will never forgive myself. Entry 19 August 25th. XXXX, someone knocked on the door early this morning. Maybe it's not morning, maybe it's afternoon. Heavy drapes cover the window at Sebastian. When I saw him, I closed my eyes. My heart has died. No hatred, no love, no sorrow, no guilt, nothing. Liana. He called. He must have noticed my abnormality. I did not shout. I did not hit him. I had no response. He didn't know yet. My heart has withered. All because of him and my own stupidity. He sat on the edge of my bed, placed his hands on my shoulder, and gently shook me. He thought I was sleeping. No, I was not. Liana. I ignored him. My lack of response and cold limbs must have scared him. He became frantic and started to raise his voice. I scared Sebastian. What an interesting sight, Liana. I ignored him. His hand shook when he placed his finger on my neck. I heard him sigh in relief. Liana, you're awake. Back to his usual emotional tone. Want to go watch something interesting with me? His voice softened a bit. I remained motionless. You are angry with me. You don't want to see me. I understand. The sight in the throne room may be of interest to you. A glass bottle was pushed into my hand. Come and meet me with this tomorrow. Something interesting is going to happen in the throne room. He saw that I did not react. He knew I would not go. He stayed by my side for a few minutes. Finally, he stood up, his voice barely audible. With a hint of anguish, he said, "Please trust me one last time, Liana." I shook with anger. How dare he use the word trust? I opened my eyes. He was gone already. Only a glass bottle and the seashell pendant were left in my hand. I threw the seashell pendant at him when I confronted him. It broke like our relationship, like my heart. Did he mend it? Did he think that would make everything right again? Don't be pathetic, Liana. A small note was on the glass bottle. Black prison. I have heard of this. This is a potion given to criminals to remove or dampen their powers. Why did he give it to me to remove my own power? I am next to useless. I do not even need black prison. He asked me to bring this to the throne room. Someone there needed who? He could have brought it himself. His last words hit on my withered heart. He asked me to trust him one last time. Haven't I learned enough? But what can I lose by going to the throne room? Maybe I should go and see what interesting thing he is planning to show me. Entry 20 September 2nd XXXX. Something interesting. That's something interesting indeed. When I entered the throne room, Lord Bentley was there too. Sebastian was sitting on the throne when he saw me. He stood up and led me to the throne next to his. The Queen's throne. He motioned me to sit down. It's the Queen's throne. I am not your queen, you are. He replied, I am not, you are. As if tired of arguing with me. He placed his hand on my elbow and ushered me to sit down. I did not even bother to fight him. I was sitting on the throne. It's been a long time. The last time I sat there I died, Your Majesty. Is there a reason why I summoned? Lord Bentley asked reverently. He sneaked a peek at me. The lady who is not the queen sitting on the queen's throne. What do you think, Lord Bentley, Your Majesty? You'll know in a while. Sebastian gave him a lazy smile. Lord Bentley froze, apparently surprised by the fact that Sebastian smiled. That was when footsteps rang outside the huge mahogany door. The door pushed open. Sebastian Ararin is now mine. The former prince known as Lucien shouted, is it? Sebastian asked with his emotionless voice. Don't you understand, you fool? And people always praise you. Said you were a perfect prince and I needed to learn from you. Ha, what nonsense, see how I beat you. This kingdom is now mine, is it? Sebastian reiterated as if he was entertaining a lunatic. Maybe he was, of course. Bentley here took over the castle. Good job, Bentley. You worked quicker than planned. Where are your guards, Sebastian? Where are your servants? Anyone coming to protect you, their king? They all ran away. Felicity and I walked in here without anyone stopping me. This castle isn't what I'm used to, not enough gold. But I'll see to that. What was this stupid prince saying? Lord Bentley looked even paler than before. He started to tremble. His forehead peppered with sweat. That's not true. Your Majesty, I don't know this guy. No one is asking you, Lord Bentley. Sebastian replied in a clipped tone. Like this whole farce had nothing to do with him. Like Lucien was not making claims to his kingdom. Lord Bentley trembled more vigorously at Sebastian's words. Lucien eyed Lord Bentley like an idiot and rolled his eyes. Bentley, you don't have to act in front of this failure. We have succeeded. I'll be king in a second, and you who have helped me this much will be the Duke. Felicity, dear, you will be queen. That beautiful throne is yours. Felicity smiled demurely and fluttered her eyelashes. I wanted to throw up. The thought of that girl sitting on the queen's throne disgusted me. Did Sebastian invite me here just to see history repeats itself? No, that did not seem right. Lucien said the guards all ran away. But that's not possible. When I walked to the throne room, everything was normal. Could things change this much in mere minutes? I doubt that even in my previous life. When people revolted with Lucien, there were still many loyal knights and guards determined to fight back. It's till the very last. When Sebastian got trapped by Felicity's luck that he ordered all knights to go away. In addition, Bentley did not seem to know anything at all. He looked frightened. Or maybe he was a really good actor. I observed all these in silence. Lord Bentley, what do you have to say for yourself? Do you admit to Prince Lucien's words? Aye. Bentley stuttered. Sebastian faced the reality. This is not a joke. Bentley orchestrated everything. Your guards have turned. Aaron is now mine. Do you know how to be king? Sebastian asked with his eyebrows raised. Like he was truly curious. Are you doubting me? I am a prince, of course I know how to be king. Do you? Sebastian looked doubtful and with a look of disgust. He made a hand gesture and guards appeared out of thin air. They surrounded Bentley, Lucien, and Felicity. People don't just appear out of thin air. They were here all along. They were just camouflaged. Sebastian once told me one of his guard could make things transparent. It's a trap by Sebastian. How did he trick Lucien? I know he is stupid, otherwise he would not be pulled off his throne. But this time he had Felicity. What? Why are there guards? Bentley, where are armies? Lucien looked shocked. Haven't you realized yet? You fool, it's a trap. Bentley shouted. I'm ruined. I'm ruined. A trap, what? Lucien finally understood what Bentley was saying. He started a fire with his power. Don't worry. I will just fight for what I want, Felicity. Don't worry, you just have to wish for my success. With a look at his beloved, his fire extinguished. Felicity, Felicity, what is going on? Don't scare me. Felicity looked like she was in a dream. She was smiling at thin air. She had this dreamy expression. Suddenly she giggled as if the air in front of her said something really funny. Felicity, hold a farm girl who can control luck. Whatever she wishes, the world gives it to her. The only way to make her power stops is to either make her unconscious or stop her from thinking. What do you think is going on? Sebastian asked. His head tilted as if he was simply curious. A scientist observing the result to his curious experiment. He walked down from the dais the thrones were on and stood in front of Lucien. Something surprising happened. With a swing of his fist, he hit on Lucien's face. And then his foot kicked Lucien on the stomach. Listen carefully. Aaron is not yours and will never be. Aaron belongs to me. The queen's throne will never belong to that farm girl of yours. It will only belong to my queen. Sebastian said with venom I never knew he was capable of. He looked at Lucien with hatred I never knew he had. I thought Sebastian was emotionless. I have never seen him so emotional. His hatred was shown all over his face. Liana. Sebastian, who was the second before as cold and ruthless as a snake, looked at me gently and expectantly. He is expecting me to do something. What? Then I remembered the bottle of Black Prison. Black Prison is said to be able to stop a person from using his inborn power. I am not sure how. Is the power suppressed or entirely erased? Black prison is said to be immoral. How can you remove something inborn and inherent from someone just with a potion? It's like cutting off a part of his body. It's like killing someone. Especially for Felicity, as her whole existence is dependent on her power. A prince will not fall in love with a farm girl all of a sudden. I suspect Felicity has a role in it, either on purpose or subconsciously. I found out it did not matter as long as I could erase Felicity's power from this world. The world does not need her luck. If you want something, work hard for it. It should not be given to you through no effort of your own, just simply because you are the chosen one. I did not even struggle one bit. Leaving Felicity's luck in this world may leave chance for history to repeat itself. I found that I could not bear Sebastian being burnt alive. Losing his country again, how pathetic am I? I am standing on the same side as my enemy. I looked at the black prison in my hand. I did not even want to get close to those people, let alone touch them. I used my power and controlled the potion. I sent the potion into Felicity's mouth, as if she was drinking something in her dream at that moment. Felicity opened her mouth when the potion flew close to her mouth. Sebastian pointed at Felicity and said, "Liana, you have taken revenge. They were the killers who murder your family. You wanted me to find out the truth, I did." He smiled at me, not the usual predator-like smile, but a more boyish kind. He looked like a child waiting to be praised. What? So my family was really killed by those guys. I had my suspicions. Wasn't burning our country into ashes enough? Why did they have to kill off my entire family? Why just my family alone? I suppressed the cough building up at the back of my throat. "Liana, there is a bottle behind your throne. Take that, it'll soothe your cough." There was really a bottle of medicine. The same one Sebastian sent me when I suffered from repercussion. "What did you make Felicity drink, you devils?" Lucien shouted. He struggled. He was already shackled and held by the guards. The shackles were charmed. No one can use their powers in those. The guards quickly shackled Felicity as well. "Black prison, how dare you, why can't I?" She is a criminal. And not one kingdom wants an embodiment of luck walking around. Who knows when she suddenly wished to take away their throne. Their country, assassinating King Louis. Murdering my fiancé's family for finding out the truth. Trying to overthrow the king. Each and everything you did granted you and your wife death. Since you're the Prince of Idhan, I will write to Ihan and see if they want to get you back. That's my leniency, how dare you? I'm just trying to take back what is rightfully mine. Erin is not rightfully yours. No one owes you anything, take them to the dungeon. Today is certainly a very entertaining day. Entry 21. September 4th XXXX. I went back to my room after the reveal yesterday. I did not talk to Sebastian. Out of the corner of my eyes, I knew he wished to talk to me, but I did not even give him a chance. I knew he had a lot of things to handle. Aren't I a good and considerate fiancé? He was setting his trap, but he did not even tell me. He has never trusted me one bit. Isn't relationship about communication and trust? We fail in that criteria over and over again. Communication between us is basically non-existent. Now that I think of it, the faults go both ways. He does not talk and just assumes I understand him. I get discouraged by the silence and hide in my own shell. If only either of us has reached out at that time. But there are no ifs, life goes on. Things that are missed are missed. Your family was not killed, they are still alive. Sebastian explained in his usual emotionless face. I know. I buried myself deeper into the armchair I was sitting and looked out of the drapes-free window. If the things that happened yesterday were all a trap, that means Sebastian has planned that from the start. From the time he said it's hunting season. I really doubted he would sacrifice his father. He might seem heartless, he did love his father. The king and the late queen may be the only two people he cares for in the world. He was extremely upset during the king's memorial service in my previous life. I was just plain stupid for not noticing that everything was a trap. Your family and my father is currently living in one of my long-forgotten family estates in the country. They'll be back in a few days, I see. Thank you for the information. Is there still something wrong with the seashell charm? I was still not looking at him, fixing my gaze at the window and the scenery behind it. I was familiar with it, the mountains far away, the forest to the fountain in the garden. I spent hours in my previous life stuck in this room, gazing out of the window. No, it's as good as new. Then, and a wave of dizziness hits me. I have ordered cook to make the dishes you like. Why this sudden dizziness, then it hit me. Are you reversing time just now? I finally turned my head away from the window and looked at Sebastian. For the first time in my 2 lives. I saw an embarrassed Sebastian, or as embarrassed and emotionless Ice Prince can get. There are a few times I felt dizzy when I was around him. Why does he need to reverse time when he is around me? I would not be able to know what happened during that erased time. An uncomfortable feeling settled in my heart. Another wave of dizziness hit me again. I asked in an annoyed voice. I am sure no one likes to be moved around like a puppet. It felt like your own time is not under your own control. Who knows how many times I have undergone this same situation. Will I be led on unconsciously by Sebastian? I did not understand what took over me. Maybe it's because of the fact that I realized Sebastian never trusted me, or the fact that I noticed how little I knew Sebastian. My 2-year husband, I was just really angry and sad. Sad about my pathetic life. Annoyed and angry with myself because I know there is still a part of me that likes him. I am tired, I am not feeling very well. Maybe I'll take my dinner in my room, Your Majesty. I did not feel normal, my feelings were in a turmoil. I need some time away from Sebastian to sort everything out. I need to sort out all my conflicting feelings. My feelings for him. Is it the repercussion from yesterday? Do you need a healer? He sounded worried. Stop fantasizing, Liana, no. The potion helps soothe the repercussion. I am just shocked and tired from all the reveal. Your Majesty. Sebastian looked at me like he does not trust me one bit. Finally, he said, please take some rest. I'll talk to you tomorrow. No, you won't. Entry 22. September 5th, XXXX Liana, dear. You must be worried sick. Mother rushed to my side and gave me a huge hug. Mother and my brothers then started to praise Sebastian. How smart he was. What a nice trick he pulled on the traitor. How well he treated the whole family. They were all beaming with pride. As if Sebastian was their family instead of me. King Louis and father were also laughing heartily and once again showering Sebastian with praises. King Louis said, I don't plan to stay on the throne any longer. Do you think being a king is easy? So many paperwork. Sebastian, you continue to do what you're doing. Don't you dare dragging me back on the throne. Someone wants to get onto the throne no matter what, and yet you wish to get off it. Father peaked. I have had my fair deal of Your Majesties. It's now Sebastian's turn. I have a great retire plan in front of me. By the way, it's time your daughter and my son get married. It's even harder to be a king without his queen. King Louis winked wedding with just this magic word. Mother's eyes sparkled. You could see the gears in her tiny head turning. No doubt already finished planning our wedding and already moving on to the not going to happen baby showers party. Yes, what kind of wedding do you want, Liana? Nothing. I replied, no, what, don't be silly. How can you not have a wedding? It's the king's wedding. Amid all the confused faces, I knew Sebastian understood what I meant. He frowned upon hearing my reply. What a rare sight. Liana, I know you're angry because I deceived you. But you know there is no better way. It's for the best that no one knows my father or your family is still live. Can't he trust me? Did he think I would go tell everyone my family is still alive and everything is false? Did he think I would go tell Lord Bentley? I am on his side. I even dared leaving my family in his hand because I trusted him. Did he repay me with even 1/10 of my trust for him? No, you have executed your plan perfectly. I have done my side of the promise. Please keep your promise. What promise, Liana? What is going on between the two of you? Mother demanded. I am sorry, Mother, I whispered. I knew this marriage is the last linkage between Mother and her best friend, the late Queen Henrietta, but this is my life. Even though I might have feelings for Sebastian, it just doesn't work out. Last life, this life. Every time I tried to trust him, every time I tried to get close to him, I got hurt. I am tired. Keep your promise, Sebastian. Sebastian's face turned pale. Liana, I please. With a tiny sigh, he turned and faced King Louis. Father, I promise, Liana, I will break off our engagement after this farce with Lucien. What Liana did Sebastian do something wrong? Tell us. We'll punish him. King Louis shouted angrily. See, everyone is so nice to me. But not suitable is not suitable. No, it's all my fault. Sebastian cut in before I could finish apologizing. It's all fault. I am sorry, Lord and Lady Kane. He dropped his head and gave my family a deep bow. Everything is my fault, Sebastian. You'd better explain what is going on. How can you treat Lyanna like this? She has been betrothed to you since she was born. How can she get married now if you're the king? Break off the engagement. King Louis's face was red with anger. He looked like he was seconds away from pulling out his sword and stab Sebastian with it. Everything is my fault. I will compensate for the damage I bring. The estate on Coral Cliff my fortune. They'll be Lyanna's, I don't need your money. Sebastian, we're just. I can't take those things are yours. Whether if you marry me or not, they're yours, Lyanna. Sebastian looked straight at me in the eyes without wavering. I looked at my reflection in his eyes. That's when it hit me. It has been a long time since I looked straight in the eyes at Sebastian. I even forgot what shade of blue his eyes are. From the time gossips started circulating. Or even before that. Why did I start avoiding his eyes? Because I knew his gaze would be as cold as the winter breeze. Because I knew he would be disappointed in me. His queen who only brought misfortune. Or was it simply because I lost confidence in myself? I simply no longer wanted to see the timid girl reflected in his eyes. Where has Lyanna gone, Lyanna? A corner of Sebastian's mouth quirked up. With a quick pat on my head, he whispered, be happy. Then he was gone from the room, gone from my life. Goodbye, Sebastian. Entry 23 November 10th XXXX. Pinkish flowers, red flaming leaves, pearly green sea. I want to see this world. I am lost and confused. I want to find Lyanna came back. I need some time alone seeing the world, and when I return, maybe I will become a more mature and stronger self. I realized I am just a sheltered girl all along, living under the wings of my family and the wings of Sebastian. I decided to go traveling, leave Erin. Since I am such a rich lady now, no matter what I said. Sebastian was determined to give me his fortune. Traveling around the world isn't a problem. And as a distinguished and educated lady, of course I would not run away from home and go traveling by myself like some of the heroines in novels. I told my family about my wish, and they are all very understanding. Probably due to the fact that they misunderstand. They thought I was deeply hurt by Sebastian, who betrayed me or maybe even cheated on me. They believed I wanted to leave the country to avoid Sebastian. I didn't correct them. Sebastian did betray me. Just not what they were thinking. Go take that, Sebastian. My tiny revenge before I leave. My family organized everything from the guards, carriage, footmen, maids, everything. Of course I did not leave immediately. I spent time with my family. Took time planning the trips I am going to take. So 2 months later I am ready to set off. My first stop is to visit my aunt and Sally in Zihin. For someone who has never traveled alone, it's of utmost importance to start easy. I doubt I should go across the continent without a drop of experience. Should I bring the seashell pendant with me? That's the question floating in my mind for a few days. I should throw it away. The relationship between Sebastian and I ended. The thing it signifies breaks months ago when Sebastian once again betrayed my trust. But why am I so reluctant in throwing it off? Why? Mother found me when I was pacing around the room. Lyanna dear, are you nervous a bit? Who won't be on the verge of a long journey on their own? Mother gave me a huge hug. I am sure you will enjoy your trip. You don't have to worry. Who are you? Practical and sensible Lyanna. You have everything planned and prepared. So don't worry, be more confident in yourself. Confidence. One of the things I have lost during my time as Queen of Erin. Something I want to gain back. I gave Mother a grateful smile. I will send you lots of souvenir, Mother. Mother nodded happily. I was waiting you to say this. Good daughter. Buy me a hat by the talented Madame Hathaway in the capital of Zihin. A necklace by the renowned jeweler in Idhan, Mother. You came to send me off just to give me a list of demands. Right, of course, now go and have fun. My dear rich daughter. Don't forget to buy my souvenirs. Sure, Mother. I rolled my eyes. Anything more you want me to bring you? When I think of other things, I will mail you the list, don't you worry for me. My good daughter, I laughed out loud. I am just worrying about my own purse. Mother pretended to be offended. I thought you were a good daughter, I winked. My purse is more important, departure is nearing. One moment we were joking around. The next tears seemed to well in my mother's eyes as well as mine. With a gentle pat on my face, Mother said, It's good to see you more energetic, Lyanna. Have fun and don't forget to buy you Madame Hathaway's hat. Idhan Royal Jeweler necklace, well yes. One cannot forget those shiny things. But also don't forget to write back home. My dear daughter, your family is always here for you. Whenever you miss home, you can always come back. We're waiting for you. I tried to hold back a sob, but I could not. I gave my mother a warm hug. And with the blessing of my family, I set off. A new journey, a new start. Entry 24, December 20th. XXXX. I arrived in Zihin after a week. My aunt gave me a warm welcome. Then I began my days of shopping and sightseeing with Sally. True to her words, Sally really knew Zihin well. Of course. I have been living here for 2 years already. Sally responded with her head held up. This would be a stunning sight with her shiny honey blonde hair, straight nose, and emerald green eyes if half of her was not drenched in mud. I was standing next to her when the mud ball hit us, so I was also drenched in mud. I really admire your knowledge of Zihin, Sally. I really do, but a mud fighting festival, really? Do you think I would enjoy this? I do. Sally nodded her head solemnly. Come on, Liana. It's fun. Are you sure you aren't tempted to throw a mud ball back at those who hit you? Very tempted, I replied with clenched teeth. I am also very tempted to throw 1,000 mud balls at the girl who brought me here. Why I introduced you to such a fun festival. She blinked her big green eyes innocently. You're afraid it's not ladylike, don't worry. See there, it's the Princess of Zihin. And that girl over there. The daughter of the Grand Duke, so don't worry, Liana. Your perfect lady merit is not tainted. It's because this dress is brand new. I stared at Sally with venom. You should have told me about the mud. It's now ruined. With anger, I threw the mud ball I made while Sally was blabbing at her. What if Liana? She responded with a much larger mud ball. I had fun. Surprisingly, it's quite a nice experience throwing things at others. It felt like I released a lot of anger and pressure I had no idea I was holding in. At the end of the day, the two of us were drenched head to toe in mud sea. You had fun, Liana. I might have more fun if I did not wear my new dress. Hee 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 hee. Anyway, you're going to the ball tomorrow, right? Maybe not sure, you know, I don't really like balls. But I think my aunt and cousins are going. Come on. Come with me. You have been here for a month, and you still haven't met my friends here. Sally pouted. Of course, you're my best friend. No one can replace you. She quickly added and gave me a wink. This explanation made you look like you're hiding something. Sally, I raised my eyebrow. Liana, I swear you will always be my best friend. She looked anxious and worried that I did not believe her. Let's not taunt her, just joking. I replied with a wink. You have to come tomorrow. It's the prince's 20th birthday party. There will be food and firework and such. The food is on another, totally different level. The desserts, think of the desserts. They held a competition this year. The winner is in charge of the food and desserts. And it's a Zihin ball. You can't say you have been to Zihin without attending one of their balls. It's totally different. Aaron's ones are always so stiff and boring fun. I am slightly tempted myself after all of her persuasion. Yay, we're going to have so much fun. I'll help you prepare the mask. So you just have to dress up prettily. You said we're gonna have so much fun today too. But look at our appearance now. Wait, mask, yes. This is a masquerade ball. Now I am even more tempted. Who can say no to a masquerade ball? Entry 25. December 21st, XXXX. Early this morning, Sally sent me a few pretty masks. I chose one that looked subdued yet elegant. The mask was made of dark blue velvet. A few gemstones lined the edge. I wore a matching dark blue gown. Liana, you look beautiful. Aunt Brianna praised after giving me a glance. Aunt Brianna, you look stunning. I really like the color of your mask. And the feathers, so many different hues of red. Thank you, dear. You should have told me you're interested in joining us earlier. Then I could ask the master that made my mask to make you one as well. Living in Zihin means paying a lot for masks. We are crazy for pretty masks. I knew Zihin has a famous mask festival. I am looking forward to it. I just did not realize even a prince's birthday party is in the form of masquerade ball. Oh, our prince just loves excitement. A very energetic young man, the prince. Always loves a good party, I see. I am sure his birthday party must be spectacular then. Exactly, you'll see what an energetic man our prince. Let's get going, Liana. You don't want to miss the sight. The prince invited quite a few guests. Some said even that King Leonard's son was coming. The party certainly was spectacular. It was the most luxurious and opulent party I have the honor to attend. Pearls and diamonds were hanging on the trees, on the drapes. Flutes for champagnes were made from the best crystals. Tiny diamonds adorned the surfaces. No wonder Sally said our parties were stiff and boring. Erin's royal balls, on comparison, are on a super tight budget. Sebastian will first freeze the bill and shoot ice darts at me if I propose hosting a ball like this. I chuckled at this thought. Wait, what was I thinking? Sally said she would come find me and told me to stand next to the sculpture of the prince. She said there was always a sculpture of the prince in royal parties. I glanced at the huge gold statue next to me. The statue was portraying a guy who I assumed was the prince, holding a mirror and adoring his own face. What a weird prince. I came to a conclusion at that instant. All princes were weird. It seemed like the girl next to me came to the same conclusion as well. She took in the statue next to me and shivered. When she saw me, we gave each other a knowing nod. I was sure both of us were thinking the same thing. What a narcissistic prince. The girl was wearing a pale blue gown and a light mask with seashells and pearls as decoration. Pearls were entwined in her hair. She spotted me eyeing her. She gave me an awkward smile. Seems like both of us were not good at small talks. Maybe it's because of the fact we both looked at the statue in disgust. Maybe because we were both waiting for someone. I tried to break this awkward moment. That's a really pretty mask. I like the sea-themed. Thank you, yours looks really elegant. Have you tried the desserts? They are fabulous. Her eyes sparkled. For some reason, her irises seemed to have a pearly texture. I haven't. Do you have any recommendation? As we became less awkward through desserts sharing, I believe that's how girls bond with each other. We started to discuss the masks those passing by us were wearing. Now that I think of it, I haven't seen the prince at all. Shouldn't he be standing on the dais down there greeting guests? I was a bit confused. That prince seemed to love to be the center of attention. So it's a bit weird the birthday boy was not on the dais receiving shower of praises. It's the start of his birthday party. The host should be receiving guests. Well, maybe he is being enchanted by a mermaid. The girl in pale blue dress smirked. It felt like she knew exactly what was happening. It seemed like the person you're waiting for came to pick you up. She smiled and pointed at someone. I thought it was Sally, but the person she was pointing at was a guy. A tall guy in a dark blue coat and dark blue mask. No wonder she misunderstood. Our costumes matched. I turned back and tried to tell her that's not the case. However, before I could say anything, she gave me a smile and a wink. Then she ran off like she was a sea spirit herself. That guy who was wearing dark blue costume stood next to me. Was he waiting for someone too? I secretly sneaked a peek at him. He had icy blonde hair and was quite tall. He looked like Sebastian, I sighed. Even though I escaped to a different country, I still had not forgotten him. I had to stop finding shadows of him in people I met. First, Sebastian is the king of Erin. Would he appear in the birthday party of a prince of a neighboring country he is not close with? Second, and most importantly, Sebastian is a workaholic. He has no interest in parties. Someone tapped on my shoulder. I turned and looked at that gentleman with ice blonde hair. He gestured at his throat and tried to say something, but nothing came out. He looked expectantly at me. His eyes looked like Sebastian's too. I really had to stop. Do you have a sore throat? I asked. He nodded. He then gestured and asked for a dance. I hesitated. I was waiting for Sally. But who knew where Sally had gone to? It's just social dancing. It would be weird if I turned him down without a legit reason. I agreed. But why did he dance like Sebastian as well? That same precise movement. He was the same height as Sebastian too. One or two trait might be a coincidence. But everything I narrowed my eyes, yes. It might be another person who had the same height. Hair color I color as Sebastian. But he even had the same habit as Sebastian when he was dancing. Suspicion built inside me. But who cared if he was Sebastian or not? We had decided to go our separate ways. I would just treat him as a stranger. I retrieved my hand immediately after the dance ended, gave him a polite curtsy, and walked away. He caught my hand before I could walk away and placed a box in my hand. He gave me a nod and walked away briskly. I opened the box and found a piece of jewel inside it. I had to return it, but no matter where I searched, I could not find him. He was gone. If he was a random stranger, why did he do that? If he was Sebastian, how should I react? Entry 26. December 28th, XXXX. I grilled Sally about her whereabouts when I finally met her at the ball a few hours later. She said she was detained in the queue, waiting to greet the prince. She was accompanying her diplomat father, but the prince was nowhere to be found. When her father finally gave her permission to leave, she could not find me next to the statue. She did not seem to be lying to me, and I believed her. If even my best friend lies to me, I don't know who to trust. Then my life would truly be pathetic. When I told Aunt about the piece of jewel from the mysterious guy, she seemed extremely excited and happy that I had a mysterious suitor. In the next few days, she tried to subtly brainwash me into believing there are many gentlemen that suit you in Zihin. Living in Zihin is much more fun than in Erin. Zihin boys are so well-mannered. Look at your uncle and cousins from her words. She did not think that's Sebastian, but a Zihin noble. So I believed she was not part of Sebastian's mysterious plan. She was so excited and kept talking about Zihin and the gentleman in Zihin. Was that really Sebastian? I decided to not give any further thought. I just hoped Sebastian would stop engaging me in his plans. I put that piece of jewel under lock and key. That was an extremely curious piece. It looks like a pendant, but that is not a pendant as there are hooks on both sides. It looks like a piece in a puzzle. The renowned mask festival is coming up in a few days. I am still considering if I should go or not. I am really looking forward to this festival when I first planned my trip. The most famous event for this festival is the night market. The things being sold in the night market are said to be magical. There are paper dolls that dance on their own, candle drawings that emit light, paper butterflies fluttering around. They are all artworks by the famous artists of Zihin. They make use of their powers to create pretty things. Plus, people wander around the magical night market in masks. Now that I think of it, is it worth it to give up something just because of Sebastian? Someone who might not even be Sebastian, not at all. With this thought in mind, I happily went to find Sally to plan our trip to the night market. After the night market, it's time I leave Zihin and visit other kingdoms and places. Where should I go next? You are leaving, Sally gasped. Don't leave me here, I am so lonely. Well, you don't strike me as lonely. You are friend with the princess and daughter of the Grand Duke. Are you jealous, Liana? Don't be. You are my best friend, no doubt about it. I rolled my eyes. I just think you are surviving well in Zihin. Do you plan to stay here for the rest of your life? As Aunt said, Zihin was a great place with lots of well-mannered boys. I smiled demurely and innocently at Sally. Sally blushed. What are you talking about? Just teasing you, I shrug anyway. I can't wait to visit the night market. Same. Do you know there is a myth saying that if a couple is able to buy the Mirror of Hearts, they will end up together forever happily married? I pat Sally lightly on the head. How old are you? Who would believe in this silly rumor aside from 5-year-old kid? And it's very evidently just a way to boost sales. Of course, but many people still believe that. They said the artist that made those mirrors had the power to bless people. That's why only a few mirrors of hearts are made each year. The artist only sells them to couples she deems she is destined to bless. Wow, then the mirror must be very expensive. What a way to sell her product. Really clever, Liana. Don't be so practical, it's romantic, But why are we talking about mirrors? It has nothing to do with us, oh right. Let's talk about the food and must-buy items. By just discussing the night market, I felt excited already. Sally and I had already prepared masks for that day. I absolutely cannot wait for night market to come. Entry 27, December 31st, XXXX. The anticipated night market has arrived. When we arrived at the entrance on a carriage, Sally and I put on our masks. The masks were lighter than the ones we had during the ball. They were made of laces and other light materials. We flew from one stall to another. Paper birds that sang in their paper cages. Artworks that talked to passerby. Paper flowers that never withered but forever fragrant. We entered a magical yet beautiful world. When we were waiting for our snacks, we encountered the girl who I met in the masquerade ball. What a coincidence, she exclaimed. Are you waiting for your friend again? I asked. She was alone again like that time at the ball. I am waiting for my lady, she replied politely with a smile. If she was a servant, then her lady must be very rich. She was wearing a silk dress and pearls were used as decoration in her hair. A pearl necklace hung on her neck. Sally must have realized that as well. May I be honored to know your lady's name? I might know her, Sally asked curiously. My lady is from a foreign country. She smiled mysteriously. A foreign country. I am currently considering where I should next travel to. May I know the name of the country I joined in? It's rather far away, really far. Again, she smiled mysteriously. But it's such fate we meet again. Oh. What's more is that I saw that gentleman you danced with over there. I froze. Are you sure? Quite sure. He is wearing the same mask. Why is he here? No matter if he was Sebastian or not. I have decided to treat him like a stranger. Haven't I? So why am I anxious? I see. What a coincidence. I smiled. Someone is calling me. I did not hear anything. I have to go. By then she was gone like a wind. A guy? Who is he? Do I know him? Sally demanded. Just someone who offered me a dance. No one important. Let's finish eating and continue looking at the stalls. You're hiding something. Sally glared at me. I kept my mouth shut. She sighed and said, all right. Let's continue. After wandering in the night market for a few hours, our stomachs were full, our purses were empty, and our maids' hands were occupied. We declared ourselves satisfied. We were walking towards our carriage when a group of people walked in the opposite direction. Something that typically happens to heroines in novels happened to me as well. I was separated from my friend and maid. A guy in mask found me instead. I just wanted to heave a sigh for having such a dramatic life. I thought I would not meet him, surprisingly. That mysterious guy spoke to me. Liana. It seems like you have an entertaining day. Sebastian, so it's him in the end. So you finally decided not to play hide and seek with me. What made you decide not to pretend to be a Zihin noble this time? He looked genuinely confused for a second. You mean you? I thought you realized I was me when I approached you in the ball. You thought I was a stranger. Then why didn't you speak to me? Wasn't that a way to avoid revealing who you were? I told you I had a sore throat. What I felt shocked. He really had a sore throat. So that meant for some reason Sebastian was in Zihin. So he thought to just drop by and greet me. Meanwhile, I thought it's a total conspiracy. I still thought it's more believable if everything was a conspiracy. I thought you knew I was your husband for 2 years. He meant, shouldn't you recognize your husband of 2 years? What a legit question. Well, I thought it's a trick of my mind at first and then decided it's a conspiracy from Sebastian. It's my honor to meet you, Your Majesty. I curtsied. But before I could perform a full curtsy, he pulled me up. Why are you in Zihin, Your Majesty? He took a box from his pocket. One pretty similar to the last one he pushed into my hand in the masquerade ball. To woo you, he placed the box in my hand. Pardon me, I nearly shrieked to a wait. You promised to break off our engagement. Our engagement has ended. Had Sebastian been hit on the head? That's not contradictory. What? Liana, here you are. Oh. Who? Sally came to rescue me. I am leaving Zihin tomorrow. See you next time. Sebastian gave me a nod and began to walk away. I had to stop him, and why did he know where I was? Was it mother? There is no next time. Don't you dare follow me. That's stalking. I did not stalk you, it's just logical deduction. Lady Kane was seen using a brand new hat from Zihin. And your aunt is living here. It was mother. Even though she did not plan to betray me, her souvenirs betrayed her. See you next time, Liana. He walked away. Liana, who is that guy? He seems pretty familiar with you. I sighed. What's happening? What did he want? I felt like fainting. Liana, that guy is His Majesty King Sebastian, my former fiancé. My supposed mysterious suitor. Just what did he want? Was betraying me not enough, as I said? Princes and kings were weird. Entry 28 August 13th. XXXX. It's been more than a year since I left Erin. I have been traveling the world this whole time. But at the same time, Sebastian seems to be following me around the continent. I confronted him about that. But he said he was just paying visit to his neighboring countries. All very innocent, nothing suspicious. As for meeting me, it's all just coincidence. If it's all coincidence, then why does he bring me a gift every single time he meets me? The gifts are still the small pieces of jewelry that look like a part of something bigger. A trinket with a mirror on the night of the night market. Another piece embedded with stones that have the same shade of pink as the petals of the flowers I was viewing. Under the trees with glowing red leaves. He gave me a piece with a huge ruby. Now that I think of it, I feel like I am traveling around the continent with Sebastian, but not by myself. In every single famous attraction site in every country, it's filled with memories of Sebastian and I. I gave up confronting him when I met him frequent enough. Once I finally asked him if Erin was alright with a king that went missing every few weeks. He shrugged in reply, as if I was asking a stupid question. Maybe our country is falling to parts because of a lazy king. As for the pieces of jewelries he kept giving me, I tried assembling it, but it's very apparent something is missing. I guess the final product will form something circular. But what a necklace, Liana. Found anything interesting yet? Sebastian walked towards me and placed his coat on my shoulder. And I was wondering when you would show up. Here you are, I gave him a teasing smile. After so many encounters, we now interact like friends, sort of. Today is the start of Astria Festival on Coral Cliff. During these few days, the stars sparkle brighter and shooting stars may also be seen if you're lucky enough. Furthermore, if you're extremely lucky, you may catch a glimpse of mermaids. Legend has it that mermaids from all over the world return to the capital of their kingdom during this week each year. The capital of their kingdom is incidentally near Coral Cliff. The stars shine brighter because of their magic. I don't know how many people believe in that legend, but that is enough to attract people, as proven by the whole island being packed with tourists. You have a lovely villa, Your Majesty, the private beach and the building itself. It's yours, not mine, Sebastian. You know you don't have to compensate me. Breaking off the engagement is what I want. You have compensated me enough. You gave me back a life and another chance to find what I want. I am thankful enough I died. But Sebastian gave me my life back by reversing time. He let me go to let me see the world. I am thankful. Liana, are you happy now? What do you think? With a small smile. I closed my eyes to enjoy the cool breeze. You were not happy then? I opened my eyes and turned my head to look at him. Sebastian was staring into the sea, deep in thoughts. No, I was not. You hate me. I looked down and tugged at the sleeves of my dress. Maybe I did, but not now. It's hard harboring hate. Hate comes from love, he said after a while. Am I so disappointing? I continued tugging at my sleeves and refused to look at him. I believed I had put down everything, hatred, feelings, but had I really put down everything? Then why is my heart still aching? Why were tears still threatening to spill out? Why do I feel bittersweet whenever I thought back to my days as queen? Why does my heart skip a beat whenever Sebastian does something touching? Why am I feeling a bit disappointed whenever he does not show up during my journey? You betrayed me. Why did you never ever tell me anything? I trusted you unconditionally time after time. But what did you repay me? Tears were threatening to spill. Lord Bentley's power allows him to spy from afar. He lifted his hand and started to gently wipe tears away from my face. When had I started crying? Do you think that explanation alone can erase every single betrayal? But why was my resolve already weakening, Liana? I looked up. His eyes were the color of ice blue. But at that moment, the shards of ice seemed to melt a bit. His emotions were no longer guarded behind a wall of ice. Guilt and sorrow could be seen. Liana, I am sorry. I am sorry for not being able to protect you. I am sorry for abandoning you in your room by yourself. I know you are unhappy and alone, but I did not rescue you. It's all my fault. I thought I could solve everything before it's too late. I thought I still had the time to cheer you up and stay by your side after everything was resolved. I am so sorry, Liana, forgive me. He was hugging me, his head on my shoulder. He hugged me tighter and tighter with every apology he uttered. If only he hugged me once when I needed someone to save me from my depression in my previous life. Would I be less broken now? I snuggled closer. In the end, I still yearned for his warmth, even though the warmth I was yearning for came a lifetime too late. And the stars were shining brightly above our head. Entry 29, August 17th, XXXX. After the talk under the star, Sebastian is back to the usual Sebastian by usual. I do not mean the following me around part. He followed me when I was out browsing the market. He followed me into the bookshop. He followed me into a boutique. Finally, when he wished to follow me when I went to a friend's tiny tea party. I had had enough, Your Majesty. Don't you have to work? He shrugged again. Like country matters were no big deal. Don't shrug at me, you were a workaholic back then. What has happened? I am so worried about Erin whenever you appear in front of me. I don't want to be the bad witch who leads Erin to downfall because the king is chasing after me. A spark appeared in his eyes. A teasing smile tugged at the corners of his mouth. I am chasing after you, that's a fact, Sebastian. I I am really worried about Aaron in this past year. I am sure you're not in Aaron for more than half a year. Sebastian gave me a quick tap on my forehead and a teasing smile. The matters I have to deal with are completely the same as our previous life. So he already knew the solutions to everything. That's why he had so many spare time anyway. Don't follow me everywhere. I did not spend enough time with you in the past. I widened my eyes in surprise. So that's why he was following me around. A bitter smile appeared on my face. But it's too late now. I turned and walked away. But he was still following me. Sebastian. I am going to Lady Beatrice's home for a tea party. Boys not invited, I know. Then why are you still? Sebastian grabbed me and pushed me back behind him. A sword pierced through his body. Then Sebastian coughed out blood. I froze. That's not happening. Where were the guards? I looked up and saw Lucien and Felicity being surrounded by Sebastian's royal guards. Why were they still here? Why couldn't the guards discover them before it's too late? Sebastian, it's all because of you. You made Felicity lost most of her power. You made me enemy of every country, but guess what? The gods still love me. Felicity still retains a tiny part of power. We escaped from Edahin's guards, and the first thing we did was to kill you. Are you honored? Sneaking up undetected is nothing with Felicity's power. Lucien shouted and laughed frantically. I ignored the crazy prince. Capture them with power-suppressing shackles. Feed them black prison until every single drop of their power has been removed from them. I commanded. I was shaking with anger, with fear. With desperation. Yes, your majesty, they shouted. Sebastian leaned onto me, my hand wet with his blood. Sebastian. A small smile tugged at his mouth. Are you all right? Liana, why are you still worrying about my safety? When you're the one drenched in blood. Why are you still smiling? Tears dropped. There must be a way to save him. Stop smiling. Healers are there. Healers. We have sent guards to find healers. Captain of Sebastian's royal guard said. The sword pierced close to my heart. Liana. Sebastian said calmly. But very apparently he was getting weaker. Why are you still so calm? You're about to die. If only I was not so preoccupied at that time. If only I had spotted Lucien and Felicity. Then I could have saved Sebastian. Tears continued to drop. Time. Sebastian. Reverse the time. Reverse it back to before everything has happened. Why didn't you do that at the time of the assassination? I can only reverse time back for 3 seconds. Sebastian looked more and more pale. More blood dripped out at the corner of his mouth. But you're lying. It's not funny. Then how come we came back in time? Stop playing, Sebastian. It's not funny. Reverse the time. You can't die. That can only be done once after. After that, to protect the balance of this world. My power greatly reduced, just like yours. It's a miracle with effort. He raised his hand and touched my face gently. Not one of my ancestors could bring anyone back through time. Not a single one. Sebastian's voice was getting weaker. Don't sleep. You promised me you'd spend time with me. You can't leave. If you do, you're betraying. My trust once again. Tears continued to drop. Do you hate me? Tears dropped on his hand. 1, 2, 3. I don't hate you. I wish you would hate me. If you cannot love me, hate me. At least a tiny smile. Be happy, Liana. How can anyone be happy while hating someone? If you want me to be happy, don't die. I don't want to hate you. I don't want to. There must be ways. Where are the healers? There must be ways. Tears dropped. 1, 2, 3. A miracle. I went back in time as well. I lost part of my power as well. Time is like a river. If you think of it that way, can I manipulate it like water? Sebastian, just try one last time. Let's reverse time. Just for 3 minutes, please, for me. Try one last time. You can't betray me again. I can't handle that. With an indulging smile, he took hold of my hand. I squeezed my eyes shut and imagined pushing water back. A technique I have mastered since I was 4. When I opened my eyes, the two of us were standing on the pavement. Just like 3 minutes ago. Before everything had happened, I started to cough. Sebastian rushed forward and took out his sword. Within seconds, the Lucien who planned for a surprise attack was lying on the floor. Felicity once again seemed to be drifting in a dream-like state. When everything was under control, Sebastian turned and looked at me meaningfully. He seemed to be waiting for something. What? He walked towards me and helped to soothe my coughing. He then whispered in my ears, "Your command, my queen." What? Weren't you giving commands like a queen just now? Only the king and the queen can order the royal guards around. A small smile hung on his face, like a devil giving out invitation. So that's what your majesty, and his smile was about. As if I will step into this trap. I turned my head away from him and stomped away. Don't follow me. You asked me not to break my promise. I am spending time with you, when did I say that? I don't remember as long as I remember. That's enough, I am going to a tea party. Boys not invited, they will if you are king. That's cheating and the sun is shining. Not a single drop of rain from the sky. Entry 30 July 21st XXXX. Another year of traveling around the continent. I spend a couple of months with my family in Erin. While I travel, a certain someone always follows. Your Majesty, please go back and work on a drink. He offered me a cup of juice which this tropical city is famous for. Your Majesty, this is getting ridiculous. What king treks the continent like some explorer? Kings are supposed to stay on their throne. And what if someone kicks you off the throne while you're following me around? You don't have an extra ounce of power left to reverse time. I can't help you anymore. Father will ensure that won't happen. I stared at him inside. King Louis will hate me for this, he won't. I eyed him suspiciously. King Louis's wish for retirement was a well-known fact. It would be great if there are ice cubes in this juice. The sun was beating straight on my head. My head could fry an egg at this rate. I looked at him expectantly. It's a trap. He says after a moment of silence, yes it is. If I chose not to tell you the truth, what would you do then? You could leave now. I gave him a sugar-sweet smile. When did you discover? Of you betraying my trust once again. I did not betray your trust. I simply did not supply sufficient information. Do you think that's not the same thing? I raised my eyebrow. It's the same thing, I apologize. The truth. Who could foresee Lyanna Cain demanding the truth from King Sebastian? With a very subtle sigh, Sebastian opened his mouth. I cannot control ice. It's just a cover for my real power. I can manipulate illusions. Create illusions that are strikingly real. The illusions involve vision, sound, taste, smell, and perception. Are there any more tiny secrets? No, I nod. You forgive me. I know you have your reasons for hiding that from everyone. But that does not make me any happier. I decided to be angry with you for a few days. A king has to have a few hidden cards, yes I know. I have always known that. I replied with bone-deep tiredness, Lyanna. He put his palm on my cheek. I am sorry. I closed my eyes and enjoyed the sense of warmth and security his hand brought me. Not that I will forgive you so soon. Even though I understand your reasons, hope this gift will brighten your day. He once again pushed a tiny box in my hand. This is the last piece. I opened the box. It's the last piece. Just as delicate and elegant as all the past pieces. Sorted the puzzle yet. Thinking back to the object I had assembled with the pieces he gave me throughout the years. I refused to look at him and began tugging my dress. So you have his hand captured mine and said, "Stop tugging, you do that whenever you're nervous." What's your reply? Was that a hint of nervousness I captured? I am still not talking to you, I continued walking. But I did not shake away his hand with a smile. Sebastian followed me to wherever I was dragging him. And our future will be as sparkling as his gift for me. A crown for his queen. Epilogue. The huge mahogany door erupted into flames. Fire danced outside the window. I closed my eyes and tried to bear the intolerable heat and pain. At least I was one of the best-dressed queens to be burnt alive. A cold hand covered my hand and gave it a gentle squeeze. I opened my eyes in surprise and stared into the calm eyes of Sebastian. Pain left me. Scenes changed. We were standing on a beach. It's been such a long time since I last saw the sea and the beach. The cool salty breeze, the sparkly sea, the crunchy sand, everything. It felt like I was really on a beach by seaside. This is Coral Cliff. I have always wanted to come here with you. Sebastian, who was standing next to me, said with barely contained sorrow, surprised. I tore my gaze from the sea and looked at him. The icy wall in his icy blue eyes that normally hides all his emotions was gone. His eyes were filled with regret. He leaned forward and held me in his arms. Please forgive me, Lyanna, I am sorry. An embrace I was yearning for. I was lonely. I was frightened. I just wanted a hug. Was that too much to ask? I just wanted Sebastian to comfort me, to rescue me. Where have you been? I was afraid and alone. Where did you go when I needed you? I could no longer hold back my tears. The pretense I had broke down. Tears slid down my face. I am sorry, Liana. I should be there. I am sorry. Sebastian gently stroked my hair and comforted me. I know you wish to go to the sea. This is my final gift for you. I have always meant to bring you here. It's like a dream comes true. I took in the beautiful scenery around us and smiled bitterly. I tried to bask myself in this final dream. A dream in which everything was perfect. A seaside holiday for the king and queen who loved each other. Sebastian placed his hand on my cheek and gently stroked my face. I leaned into his hand, trying to capture this tiny warmth and gentleness from him. Trying to hold on to this one final dream, a dream. Sebastian mused. Time passed and we stayed in peaceful silence, treasuring the last moment before our inevitable death. That was then Sebastian opened his mouth. I am going to wipe away each and every sorrow and regret you had. I am going to weave the sweetest dreams for the both of us. He placed his head on my shoulder. Trust me. Trust me one last time. The hands wrapping around me tightened. Dream. With one hand he embraced me. The other stroked my hair gently. I will weave you the sweetest dream. I will no longer leave you alone. Your promise means nothing. My heart still aches from my lesson. I tried to struggle out of his embrace. Please trust me one last time, please, Liana. One last time, his voice filled with desperation. I promise you'll no longer be left alone. Sebastian begging me, was this a dream? Maybe it was. Maybe everything was just a hallucination I had before I died. At least before I died I felt loved. Loved by my king, my deepest wish. You're lucky to have me. A queen who trusts you no matter what, even if I get hurt in the process. I smiled. How silly am I? With one final stroke on my cheek, he leaned down and kissed me on the forehead. Have a sweet dream, Liana, I will find you. An indulging and sweet smile appeared on his face. He smiled for me. Tears dropped. 1, 2, 3. Then everything turned blank. Have a sweet dream. The end. Sebastian POV. Look. My sandcastle. The tiny girl in front of me said, as she tugged at her dress with one hand and pointed at her artwork with the other. I looked at the sandcastle she made. It could not even be called a sand dune. It's just a lump of sand. Do you like it? She smiled shyly. This is not sandcastle. I told her the truth. This is not. You don't like it. She seemed to look lost and frightened. Why? Was I being too harsh? I did not know how to talk to little girls. No matter what I said, I'd upset them in the end. Like my cousin and the girl in front of me. My fiancé, the gate is here. Her voice shook a bit, and she looked at me with watery eyes. The moot mode, I supplemented. I'm sorry. She lowered her head in defeat. Stupid son. What are you doing? You scare little Liana with your serious face. Smile. Words formed on the sand in front of me. Mother's power. Mother was angry. Smile. Would that work? Smile. How did one do so? I tried tipping the corners of my mouth upward. Liana stared at me, blinking her watery eyes. She looked stunned, then she continued talking. I like the sea, lots of water. She made a huge circle with her hand. I like water. Do you like water? No. I did not feel anything special towards water. Liana was tugging at her dress non-stop. She was going to ruin her dress at this rate. Why did she do that? Stop that. Your dress is going to be ruined, I reminded her. The blue dress looked good on her. But if she continued tugging, the lace on the dress was not going to last. I am sorry. Her voice was wobbly. Tears dropped from her eyes. She quickly wiped them away. Why did it turn out like this every single time? What did I say wrong? She squatted back down and tried to pile more sands on top of her sandcastle. She looked like she was still sobbing. I wanted to comfort her, but how? I did not know how to interact with her. I knelt down next to her. She was building a sandcastle. Maybe I could show her one, Liana. I called her and she looked up from her work. Let me build you a sandcastle. Can you build one with 3 towers? She brightened up immediately. I nodded. She clapped her hands and said, I can't wait. Quick. I used my power. Father said I should hide it. But Liana probably would think it's only some magic. And little girls seem to like magic. Sand started piling up in front of us. A castle with 3 towers started to form. Bits by bits, layers by layers. Finally, I added a seashell at the very top. It's all an illusion. I glanced at Liana. She was staring at the castle, eyes widened. Mouth gaping, she then clapped her hands excitedly. Sebastian, you know magic, you're really cool. She smiled brightly. the happiest I had seen her today. Under the influence of her smile, I gave her a small smile in return. Sebastian, you look beautiful when you smile. Like a fairy prince in the story I Am a Prince. She tilted her head as if she could not connect me with the word prince. But princes in storybook smile. Not all princes are like that, but I like your smile. Very much. She made the same gesture as she had when she said she liked the sea. For some reason, I asked a foolish question without thinking. As much as the CM. She seemed to be in deep thinking. I think I like your smile even more than the sea. She gave me a shy smile and ran away before I could say something in return. I chuckled, what a strange girl. But I did not detest her. Sebastian POV. I spotted Liana standing at the side of the hall. I had not spoken to her for years. Since mother's death. I was busy with my schoolwork and duties as prince. From what Adrian said, she no longer cried easily. She liked reading, she liked the color blue. She had a sweet tooth. She was friend with the Lord Knightley's daughter. She was tugging at her dress, she was nervous. She always seemed nervous whenever she was in balls. Especially when she was standing alone. She hid it well. But her hand hiding among the folds of her dress betrayed her. Son, Liana is over there. Why don't you go over and invite her for a dance? Father asked. I knew I should. I wanted to see how the little girl who cried easily grew up to be. But I did not know how to approach her. What if she was frightened of me? I did not know how to interact with young ladies any more than with little girls. Father, I have my duties. Ambassadors from Zihin and Ihan are coming. If you're so invested in your duties, then stop sneaking glances at Liana. You made me feel like I am forcefully separating the two of you. How did I give birth to such a shy son? You did not give birth to me, mother did. Stop being shy, Sebastian, you'll regret one day. Take my words, I am not shy, no, of course not. You just don't know how to start a conversation. As I said, why did my son turn out to be such a boring and shy guy? Father, Ambassador of Ihan is coming. Father sighed and shook his head. You'll regret one day. I regretted. Liana was sobbing in front of me. Her entire family was dead. I did not know how to comfort her. I froze when I saw her tears. Just like when I was young, what a failure I was. I suspected her family's death and my father's death were not pure accidents. But I could not tell her. Something was at force here. I could not expose her to dangers. Her family was most likely killed because they found out something. I am sorry for your loss. She looked up. Her eyes rimmed with red. Your Highness. I am sorry for your loss, she said sincerely. I felt touched. She remembered, even amid her own sadness. Do you have any plans? I knew I was being harsh. But accepting reality was the best solution. I had, and so should Liana. Tears started to flow out of her eyes. But she quickly wiped them away with her handkerchief. She had grown up to be an even stronger girl than she was in the past. Prince Sebastian, I am your fiancé. I will stay here in Erin. I should stay by your side at times like this. Liana was certainly not the crybaby from the past. I had no interest in love or romance. Who was my wife in the future made no difference to me. But at that moment I thought maybe Liana as my queen was not a bad choice. I did not detest this choice. Please, Sebastian, help me find out the murderer. My family was murdered, Liana begged. I wish I could. But I could not. I knew the murderer. But I could not tell her. Lord Bentley's power made him able to spy from afar. He could hear or view things from afar. I could not risk her. I had to stop her from continuing her search. I could not lose her as well. She was the only one I had now. I smiled. Definitely not the smile she came to like when we were young. But the smile I knew she was frightened of. I am busy, Liana. I don't have time for your make pretend. Now I had done it. Why was my heart seems to be aching? Why was hurting her such an easy feat for me? No matter it was then or now. Tears started to fill her eyes just like they did when she was young. When we were building sandcastles, but unlike before. She quickly wiped away her tears. She put on a mask. A mask that shut me off from her. I'll be in my room. Your Majesty, she curtsied and she walked away. She pretended as if my words did not hurt her. But they did. Her hands amid the folds of her dress betrayed her. She was tugging her dress like she did when she was small. Sorry, Liana, I'll make them pay. I regretted. Maybe I should not have married Liana from the start. I should not have selfishly bound her to me because she was the only one in the world that seemed to stand by my side. Now she was going to die with me. She suffered from all those gossips and accusations because of my incompetence. I thought I could make up to her. I thought I could win, but I could not. I lose. What a failure I was. Now she wished to die with me. The husband who hurt her, who did not rescue her when she needed me. I regretted I was wrong. I wished I could erase all her sorrows. I wished we could start again. I regretted. Snapshot. Sebastian raised his eyebrow in surprise. A glimmer of shock passed through his eyes. There seems to be a mistake, Liana. Have you ever heard of a saying that said never in a life told a woman that she had made a mistake? I looked at him with challenge in my eyes. Sebastian lowered his eyes and read through the bill I gave him once again. No doubt trying to find out the mistake I made. I chuckled internally. You're not going to find it. Is there something special about this ball? I don't remember us ever spending this much on a ball. Sebastian looked genuinely confused. Oh, it's because this is a Zihin-style ball. I really admire their style of ball. I nodded enthusiastically. Who won't be? The dazzling crystals and diamonds hanging all over the places. The rich velvet covering the floor. The golden statues and valuable vases decorating the room. The confused look cleared from his face. Understanding took its place. I see. He handed me the bill without taking another glance. Go on with it, he agreed. I stared in surprise. It's such a lavish ball, and so much will be spent arranging such a ball. Sebastian would never agree with something like this in his previous life. I handed over this fake bill, just to tease and prank him a bit. He agreed with such lavish planning. Liana, you have something else to say, but this bill is extortionate. The amount is ridiculous. How can you agree with it? But you want a Zihin-style ball. He looked thoroughly baffled again. This is just a prank. Why would you agree with such lavish spending? You seem to like Zihin-style ball. You want one, so I agree with it. It's not like we're lacking in money, he said with his normal emotionless face. Like he did not just agree to spend a ridiculously huge sum of money just to please his queen. My cheeks felt warm. No doubt in the color of cherry red. I lowered my head and started tugging at my dress. Why are you embarrassed all of a sudden, he asked. Exasperated. I am not, you annoying guy. I stomped back to my seat next to the window and continued reading my latest romance novel. I could not focus. Why could Sebastian always seem to be able to say seemingly embarrassing lines with such a straight face? He seemed to always put my wish before everything else. Then what about me? I did not seem to do enough. What if Sebastian could not feel it? He made me felt loved and cared for. But could he feel my love for him? My reserved feeling suddenly. Sebastian's face appeared in front of me. He was squatting in front of me. I nearly screamed in shock. I quickly looked away and pretended to be reading. He placed his hand under my chin and gently raised my head to look at him. A small smile seemed to be tugging at the corner of his mouth. Are you reading? I nodded like my life depended on it. What are your eyes for? Can't you see the book on my lap? That's when I noticed the book I thought I was reading was flipped upside down. You're reading? Sebastian raised his eyebrows skeptically. My face turned to a brighter shade of red. What are you thinking again? He patted on my head gently. Nothing. I could not possibly tell him I feared he might tire of me because I could not express myself well. Stop wringing your dress. He placed his hand on my hand. You'll ruin your dress. This looks good on you. My face felt even hotter. Here it came again. Why couldn't I express myself as freely as he did? I had to try. Relationships go both ways. Sebastian was trying. I should too. I should stop hiding behind my shells. I like your eye color, the blue. I have always liked it. I quickly touched the corner of his eyes and looked away immediately. As much as the sea. Sebastian tilted his head sideways. He seemed to be thinking back into some old memories. I think I like it more than the sea. I smile. I also like your smile, but you seldom smile. The question took me by surprise. So I didn't think before answering. Now thinking back to my reply. I wanted to hide in a hole underground. Please, Earth, open up a hole for me. I'm not going to let you run away this time. Sebastian slid his hand into mine and held on firmly. Why did he know I was planning to run away? I tried to bury my face in the hand not held by Sebastian. Don't be embarrassed, he gently stroked my hair. I am happy, thank you, Liana. I looked up just in time to see his indulging and sweet smile. Just for me, for reasons unknown to me. Tears started to drop, 1, 2, 3. He brushed away my tears and kissed me on the forehead. I am happy, Liana, are you? I replied by hugging him. I wish you happiness. Have a sweet dream, Liana. Thank you for watching our channel's program on Diary of a Reborn Queen. We hope you enjoyed our in-depth discussion on the story of Liana and Sebastian. If you're eager to learn more about the twists of their destinies and the secrets of the royal court, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any updates.